Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Right now we have got the man of the moment. It is the final day of Jeremy Corbyn's first conference as Labour leader. He is in Brighton. The weather's been marvellous there for the conference, and indeed I think, Mr Corbyn, for you all week. I think this may have been an omen for you. The sun was shining. It was like a new dawn.
It was a lovely day yesterday here in Brighton, and it's a lovely morning here, absolutely glorious morning. And we've had the biggest conference for years, biggest increase in membership still coming in. We are a huge party on the march. OK. Well, that was a good day. It wasn't such a good night for you last night, because I know you're an Arsenal supporter. We'll not really dwell on that. But, you know, it's all going so well. Then that happened last night. And I was wondering, looking at you yesterday, every young lad has a dream maybe of playing in the FA Cup final and scoring the winning goal. And I was looking at you and the love there was for you in the room and basking and all of that. Was yesterday your FA Cup final? It was a great day, but it wasn't a day that I spent my life searching for. I've spent my life pursuing political causes, representing my community and working within the Labour Party. I was asked to and agreed to contest the Labour leadership. We ran a huge campaign and got amazing levels of support from a huge range of people across the country, and I was elected leader. I'm very honoured to take that position, and I will do my very best to fulfil those hopes and desires and dreams of the people that voted for me. I think my leadership is about including people, is about developing and extending our party, and above all, putting forward a political philosophy that challenges the narrative that the poorest people can achieve the best. We don't have to live in such an unequal society as we do at the present time. That's the message I was putting across yesterday here in Brighton. It's almost like a religious message. You're like a religious leader in many ways. And I think even people who think, I don't like Labour, I don't like socialism, there's not a lot to argue. You know, they can look at you and you say, well, you can't really argue with them about that. That all seems good. However, I put it to you, and I know you're into caring and respect, and I would love to do that, but, you know, that doesn't happen on TV. So anyway, we'll do the next bit, which is... Why can't it happen on television? Well, because people will say, I'm sucking up to you and I'm being soft and we're giving you an easy time. So, you know the way the game works, so we've got to sort of change it. People might say, your outlook is a bit hippie-like, you know, that you sort of want to hug everybody. And the critics will say, yeah, but there's no content to what he said. He was preaching to the converted yesterday. How do you react to those who are going to say, we want detail, we want detail? Look, there's a difference between respectful people on a personal level and conducting politics in an adult, civilised and respectful way. But also I was pointing out some pretty clear, pretty stark facts about the way the poorest in our society are treated, about the way our economy is very unbalanced, and about the need for serious levels of investment in infrastructure and manufacturing industry so that we grow our economy. I said some pretty blunt things about the way in which the government has decided not to intervene to help the people on Teesside over the future of their steelworks. I said some pretty blunt things about the way in which so many people are living in very poor quality housing with no housing security whatsoever, because we have a government that is not interested in regulating the private rented sector or providing funds for the development of council housing, which would actually be a good investment for all of us. Sorry for interrupting, but I know you were saying lots of things, but I have to put another nasty question to you. Were you saying your own things? Front page of the Daily Telegraph, new politics, old speech. And, you know, do you just take that on the chin and you say, because I know if it was me and I was in your position a month ago, no one had heard of you, little responsibility, little influence, whatever. Now you are the man, right? So if someone handed me a speech, I'd say, thank you very much. And as long as I believed it, I would think I can deliver that. So are you going to tell us, look, that's the way it was? We went through me and my team went through a lot of time preparing this speech and working out how to put across what is actually quite a complicated message, because you're at one level speaking to a wonderful conference here in Brighton, but clearly the speech is televised all around this country and indeed all around the world, and so you've got to make sure that people understand the message that's being put forward. The speech was over 5,000 words. 350 words were provided by a friend of mine. I liked the way he'd put them forward. I liked the words that he used, so I used them in my speech. Is that such a bad thing? I quoted poets. I quoted Ben Okri. I quoted Maya Angelou. I quoted from Keir Hardie's works. I tried to put forward a speech that put forward both policies and philosophy and a message about the attitude and way that I would want politics to be conducted in this country. Not everybody will like the speech, I'm sure. You can't please all the people all the time.
You can't, and you're going to please very few people. I suppose that's the thing about politics. And you know, what I'm trying to say is, you know, you talk about, you know, a new era of politics and respecting people and all the rest and caring about people. And but you know what? You don't love and respect everybody. Why don't you just admit you hate the Tories? I mean, you can't talk about respect and love. You actually hate them.
No, what I put forward was the problems that people face in this country and why I disagree with the political philosophy being pursued by the government and obviously by the Conservative Party on the kind of society they want to create in Britain and what I think would be much better, which is a society where we recognise the huge abilities and talents of everybody, particularly the poorest people, who are often locked out of the possibility of achieving anything by low wages, by bad housing, by insufficient educational opportunities. I want to unlock the talent of everybody. That is the philosophy I was putting forward.
I know, and you see, all that sounds brilliant, but if I was running a company, or you get chief executives listening, and basically you're running a company, they're going to say, look, it's nice to take into account what people have to say, but the way you put this across, everybody join the party, will listen to all of you. If you did really do that, you'd be too busy listening to ever do anything, so it ain't going to happen, is it?
There is a democratic, open process within the Labour Party and all the affiliates of the Labour Party. There is huge talent all through that membership. We've got nearly 400,000 members and growing very, very fast.
Yeah, but you can't listen to them all.
In having their they're interested in having their voice heard. They don't want the idea that there's be some all-seeing, all-knowing leader that will decide everything. Yes, at the end of the day, a policy decision will come to that, and we'll make an agreement on aspects of housing policy, aspects of economic policy, all those things. But surely, at the start of this process, you set out what your general philosophy is, you set out how you're going to be inclusive to all people. Surely that's something that's good about politics, good about a democratic society.
If it works.
And
if it works. I mean, I'd like to talk to you. I'd like to talk to you in 5 years' time to see if it actually does work. But you know, it's one thing listening to the party. What if you've got a disunited party? Not even a disunited party, a disunited cabinet, because Parliament may soon be asked to take a big decision on further action in Syria. Are you happy to lead a disunited party on that matter, from Hilary Benn to Diane Abbott?
Look, I was elected with over 250,000 votes of party members and supporters. I have a huge mandate. 60% of those that voted for me to be the leader. Yes, there are people in the Parliamentary Labour Party who have a different approach to the situation in Syria. I fully understand that. There is a possibility that the UN discussions going on between President Putin and President Obama and others will lead some way towards a political solution. That's a good thing. Let's not preempt whatever decision we may or may not have to take. You seem to be asking, if I may say so, a slightly hypothetical question.
No, it's not. It's not, because it's not. It's never going to work. Look, listen. Let's talk football. Let's talk football, right? Your man's Arsene Wenger. My man was Alex Ferguson. Even Louis van Gaal now. Do you think they go into the dressing room and they say, listen, boys, how are we going to line up tonight? What are we going to do tonight? You disagree? Do you want to play in goal? Do you want to play in goal? No, they don't. Fergie always said he had to make it clear there was one boss, he was the boss, that was it. That's not your sort of way of doing things, though.
My way of doing things, because it's politics, it's community, it's people, it's government, is actually, if I may say so, not the same as managing a football team going into a competition.
So if you want to be a winner, do you actually want to win? Do you want to be Prime Minister?
Do you want to win?
Do you want to win the league?
Eamonn, please.
Do you want to win?
Yes, Labour's doing very well.
Do you want to win?
We are going to win. And of course,
do you playing for a place in the top four, or do you want to win?
Of course I want to win, and of course Labour wants to win. That's why people have joined this party. That's why this party is growing. That's why we are united on our desires for the hopes of ordinary people in this country. That is what's so strong about this. Yes, there is going to be some discussions about some issues. Obviously,
yes.
Every party has to have discussions about some issues, and then at the end of the day, we'll come to a conclusion.
Yeah.
Is there room for people who have different views in this party? Of course there are. No one party can have a monopoly of one single wisdom with a mass membership. But of course you have to come to a conclusion, and we will.
Mr Corbyn, you certainly are different. You are very, very different. It's fascinating as a politician talking to you and having an exchange with you. With that, there is no doubt. Let me ask you this. This is my curiosity. I see you today the way I normally recognise you, without a tie. Yesterday you were wearing a tie at conference, delivering that magnificent speech. Is it true someone lent you that tie?
The tie came from a friend of mine because some of my team didn't like the colour of the tie that I was suggesting. It was one of those rather odd discussions we have. I like to appear as comfortably as I possibly can. Yes. I'm happy like this, but I was very happy. I hope you will agree, looking very smart and tidy yesterday. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that. I did think it, and
Thank you.
I thought the red was the right choice. What colour had you got on before the red?
It was a different shade of red, actually.
Oh, a different shade of red. Okay. Well, I thought it suited your complexion.
I don't think there's a huge political debate here, actually.
Oh, but there is. No, I tell you there is. Because I do think image is very important. And although you were preaching to the converted, I think the general populace, if you bear with me on this, they want to know, does he look like a Prime Minister? Has he got the right tie on? And I know you did the thing with the socks and the sandals and whatever this week. I know you want to project yourself as something different. But that doesn't really... A lot of people see their Prime Minister in a different way. That's all I'm saying.
I understand what people are looking for in a party, in a government, in a future Prime Minister. I fully understand that. I also think that anyone, however high and mighty they are, have got to remember from where they come and got to understand how ordinary people lead their lives and how ordinary people come about conclusions to their own lives and decisions. And I live in a normal place, I live in a normal area, and I talk to an awful lot of people in my community and many other communities, and I try to represent their ideas and their views and look at the ways we can do things differently and better in our society.